Risings, everyone. Welcome to Grace in the Mornings. If you don't know who I am, my name is Miss Grace, and I'm here at least 3 days a week in the morning where we talk politics, social issues, and everything above. Today, we have a very interesting topic to talk about, and that is called organized confusion. Shout out to my Hebrew brother. He made a video with this topic. He kind of talked about some other things, but I want to add some things to the conversation because we're seeing a lot going on from the ICE raids, Epstein files, Mega going crazy, Trump with his crazy tariffs, war. We also have what I believe is an orchestrated plan to take away our rights. So let's get to it today. We got a lot to unpack, okay? Hit the like button. Thank you for being here with Miss Grace this morning. All right. Let's get to it, guys. So, what we're going to first start off by talking about some of the controlled, organized confusion. We're going to first just talk about the statement that was headed by Christy Nome or thereof of her avoiding the statement about will Americans have to identify themselves. And this is something that I mentioned months ago to be aware of as American citizens that you and I, not being migrants or illegals, may have to identify ourselves every day, anytime, anywhere they demand. So let's just watch this real quick and then we're going to kind of get into a little bit more. Thank you for being with us this morning. Please hit the like button and the subscribe. Christy Nome. Let's play this real quick.
Plans to pull out of Minnesota. No plans to pull out of Minnesota. How would you describe what you were seeing on the ground there? Would you describe it as an insurrection, and do you believe the president should invoke the insurrection? I describe it as violent, a violation of the law in many places. I discussed with the president this morning several things that we are dealing with under the department in different operations. We did discuss the Insurrection Act. He certainly has the constitutional authority to utilize that. My hope is that this leadership team in Minnesota will start to work with us to get criminals off the streets. Remember, we are there in surged operations because of the largest fraud scheme in American history. We had people stealing from taxpayers, stealing funds away from the most vulnerable individuals in this country, people who needed mental health services, developmental services, autism, daycare. Instead, individuals came in, much from the Somalian community, and stole dollars from those people who needed it and put it in their own pockets and enriched themselves. Did it right under Governor Walz's nose. And we believe that he didn't just know about it, that he may be complicit in it as well.
Okay, so she's already blaming the government. They're basically saying what she's saying is what's happening in Minneapolis is a result of the large Medicaid, Medicare, food stamps type of fraud. And as you see, there's a major issue because they have people, prosecutors, they have over 30 prosecutors in this year that has walked away from Trump and about 8 that did it in the last couple of weeks related to this situation. Now, I just want you guys to pay attention to this because this is something that we have been talking about. Now, I'm talking about this is because I want the people who watch this to expand their horizons and start to think outside of the box, get out of our emotions and start preparing for what they're doing to us because people are walking right into this. And I'm seeing the writing on the wall. Now, as I highlighted what Noam said, about how she has to get control and, she lied on Miss Good. This is some of the things that I want you to be aware of. There is a severe, massive surveillance program going on right now through ICE. And I believe there is like a 2 or 3 tier system that we have to pay attention to. So, according to my findings, U.S. Immigration and Customs operation is vast, multi-layered, expanded surveillance and monitoring infrastructure designed to identify identify, locate, track, and manage immigrants, often without requiring a warrant. So we already see that's what's going on, that's what's happening. This network relied on high-tech digital tools, private data partnerships, and physical monitoring. So I'm just getting into this because we have to start honing in on our First Amendment rights. And that is what I believe this administration is working on, our First, Second, and Fourth Amendment rights right now while all of this is going on. And heightening what Trump had said when he first got into office, where everybody kikied and laughed that you guys will never have to vote again, that he will be the last president. Now, my mom brought this to my attention because good old jolly Ginger made a video highlighting his perspective of why there may not be another election after this if if we don't get a grip between midterm, well, now and midterm. So I think this is like a great conversation for us to have. So let's get back to the monitoring, because this is like a 3-4-fold situation that they have running right in front of us. They're running a play right in front of us, and I don't think people are aware. Let me just make sure you guys can hear me and see me. I had my let me see what's going on with my microphone, guys, because I had my microphone on a charger all this time, so it's kind of disconnected, but I'm not going to let it, guys. Let's get to it. Thank you for being with us today. I won't let our broadcast get the best of us. But one of the first things, if you guys can hear me, let me know, is the social media monitoring. I mentioned this the other day. Someone got on me and said, hey, all she do is show a news broadcast, and how do you know those are facts, this, that, and the third. So as I tell people, my angle is to cross-reference all of the information that I can find on the internet, and we depict the truth out of it. We use our critical thinking skills and all of our knowledge from different walks of the earth and come together and figure out what's going on, and not what just what they're telling us. So that's the reason why. Also, I have learned over the numerous times that I had to restart my page and I have been censored, that there are certain things that you just don't say. And when you do say it, even though it's similar to what other people are saying it and they're able to say it, some of us get the repercussion to be used as examples. And then you have all these laws and things to start to go into place to actually enable or inhibit us from talking, i.e. just the last one that just happened around this, where all of us were censored for saying, just asking regular questions, even us as healthcare workers. So let's just keep this in mind, because this is the path that I believe that they're going towards, as well as the addition of possibly not having another election, American election. This is what Trump is doing. So they're monitoring social media. Now, another thing that brought this to my attention, like, oh yeah, it's going down now, is that this big old Charlie Kirk debacle, and what Candace Owens is doing, running a live investigation in front of millions of people, in which I do support, because that is kind of like what we did last year with the mayor of Hilliard. Mayor of Dalton, let me slow down, Hilliard. If y'all don't know who that is, go look her up. She was one of the worst mayors on the South Side. So we kind of did a lot of investigation, showing her downfall, showing her cases, just the things she was doing. So I'm like, okay, well, Candace Owens is doing this, pretty cool, similar, and that's great. But I have noticed that two things that I have noticed with that makes me think that things are a little bit weird. One, she has and still has direct ties with Turning Point USA, as well as two, the next situation is that people are starting to be given cease and desist, and that's what we're going to get to towards the end. So let's just put all these things in mind. I'm just throwing some concepts out there. Everything is going to feng shui together. I want it to make sense because I need you guys to be prepared, because I do think this is controlled opposition, organized confusion. So again, this heightens the concept where we say not only our social medias are being monitored, not only by allegedly ICE, according to what I'm going to read to you, but also by others who are talking about that big old topic with CK and EK. Okay. So these are some of the technologies that AI that ICE is using. Please bear with me. I'm just a regular person talking. I'm not a specialist. I never went to broadcast school. Guys, y'all know what I'm here for, just for truth and justice. Please hit the like button. Okay. Now, let's mute this real quick. All right. So, social media monitoring. ICE has invested in an AI tool called Zingnal. Zignal Lab. Okay. Go look this up. And Shadow Dragon Social Net. What is that? What is that? I can't believe this thing want to act up on me. I think Okay, SocialNet. All right, so these are two monitoring systems that they're using right now that we are not paying attention to. So this is the one scan billions of social media posts across platforms like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and Reddit, with plans establishing 24/7 monitoring teams to generate leads. Now, let's just think about this. Just happened just so recently. Let's talk about it. Hey, good morning, guys. I know I'm having some sound issues. Y'all guys just let me know. But this is going to be a nice, robust conversation, and I really think that many people should pay attention to this, okay? So, y'all remember most recently in Minneapolis where they said they found an ICE vehicle who was actually abandoned because they said that the protesters allegedly ran this ICE agent off and yah, yah, yah. In that particular car, what was kind of to me was that the list that they found in the car wasn't actually list of migrants, the homes that they were going to, but they were list of public officials, connections to the FBI and other big name people. This is what they said directly. Go look for that clip. We have to talk through this, okay? Let's make it make sense. So why would that be inside of the ICE vehicle, per se, if they are the ones that's going after the migrants? Why would they have a list of public officials, high name FBI agents, and people that's all in these type of ICE category groups, whatever they're doing for their plans, and they'll just leave it in the car? Right. And then we have this particular website that I had said, no, I'm not even going to go through, that has all of these ICE agents' names and their information and their pictures. Now, me understanding even an entity known as Anonymous can hack a website, shut down the website. You're telling me that our government cannot shut down that website, i.e., they have shut down many websites and hacked websites. I'm not going to blame the government, but just so happens, shout out to my Hebrew brothers, they have a website that they have. Hebrews Connect.com. I believe that's the network. And that thing has almost been hacked and shut down. They are supposed to be doing things to move it to. I'm telling you this situation so you can realize something is not right. So my Hebrew brothers are supposed to be getting their app on iPhones, and somehow it just stopped. The process stopped. Everything was just messed up. And they asked the company or whoever's doing this type of technology, service, because I'm not smart in that, what happened. And they're like, they don't know. They don't know. So for that other website to still be up with all those ICE agents' name and pictures, I think we need to be wary of that, okay? Because they can monitor who actually logs on to a website. And I'm telling you this because my website, I can monitor who logs on to my website, what country they come from, and their IP address on my simple Wix website for my business. Let's talk about it, okay? Let's talk about it today. So, these are the two surveillance programs that I want you guys to pay attention to on top of what I just told you. Make it make sense. Please don't fall for it. So, phone and location data is being tracked by ICE using software such as Locate X. Go look this up. It says to purchase and access location data. So, I guess they can purchase data because, they're always farming our data through these companies. Access location data, harvesting from ordinary apps on smartphones, allowing agents to track individuals' movement without a warrant. Did they say that Locate X is just for migrants? Did they say it's just for immigrants, illegals, the criminals? Nope. Facial recognition is the next aspect that they are using. Facial recognition and biometrics. ICE has contracted with companies like Clearview AI. I'm throwing this out there because some of you guys was going to research it. And use tools like Mobile Fortity to scan faces and check them against massive photo databases. Again, everybody who did face recognition, you put all of your data into these apps and now they're able to sell them. Let's go. Automatic license readers. Now, we already knew that they had something like that with the cameras and stuff, sending us tickets after tickets after tickets. It says, through partnership with firms like Flox Safe and Motorola Solutions, ICE accessed a massive network of camera data to track the movements of vehicles nationwide. And let me say, I feel some type of way. You know why? Please, God, let me know if you guys can hear me because my thing just literally keep cutting off. So I'm to the point that I'm just going to talk to you guys. I apologize if y'all hear some static in the background, but let's get to it. You know what pees me off just to get distracted? You know, when you want to go fight a ticket and you want to access those cameras, they give you such a hard time to access those cameras. And you're telling me right now that they can just go in and access them damn cameras. Allegedly in Georgia, the cameras that's on the highway, they say that they don't even keep records for those things more than 24 hours. I said, what's the point of having the cameras up there for? Oh, for live feed. Yeah, I'm moving forward. When we want to access it, it's a problem, but they could just tap on in. So let me just finish this off with spyware. ICE has contracted with smartphone spyware such as Paragon. I'm giving y'all names to go look this up. Paragon, Graphite. Graphite is GRPHITE, okay? Which can extract data from encrypted apps like WhatsApp app and its signals, okay? Now, this is what we want to talk about, okay? The monitoring of what's going on. While this is happening, you know, ICE is kicking our butt. Trump is doing war with everybody. Epstein files is being delayed. Candace Owens is doing this national investigation. Got millions of people still talking about Charlie Kirk like he's a god. Mega has hijacked Christianity, and now we have two individuals at the same time that's out in the middle of these ICE protests causing mayhem. Now, I had said a couple of broadcasts ago, like, yeah, we made it. They can't get civil war with us as being American citizens against American citizens, meaning black against white, white against black. They always tried that, and it just really didn't work because us as black people wouldn't really fall into the nonsense, and the ones that are hateful, they just end up just going through whatever they're going through. Now, what I'm seeing now is that they have something a little crazy going on. Now we have, and I mentioned this the last broadcast, this gentleman who's coming out to be a leader of one of the sectors of the Black Panthers. And I'm telling you, black people, we woke. Blessings, how are you? Dijon Campus 2 from Nigeria. Blessings, blessings. Let us know what's going on in Nigeria because I want to do a follow-up broadcast on what's going on in Nigeria because they totally just, their president or whoever he is kind of sold y'all out and they just left it in the dust. So we're going to be getting back to Nigeria because we're going to do a second broadcast today and we're going to be talking about the why behind the kidnapping of Maduro and this Tin Cane theory, and we're going to be starting with Israel and Russia relations, and we're going to break this down. So shout out to you in Nigeria. I pray that you are safe. I pray that you get a better president just like we do. Baby, one world. Now, back to what we're talking about. Thank you so much for being here. This Black Panther person, I think us as black communities are starting kind of to get the same feeling right now at the beginning, though, that this is a little suspect, like when they hijacked the Black Lives Matter movement. Okay, let me clarify this before I show his clip. I do believe the Black Lives Matter movement was set up in a manner to help us. I do think it was set up with good intent. But once money was sold in it from certain entities, and then they started having board members and people were voted in and voted out, this is when the infiltration took over. Just like with the Charlie Kirk thing, okay? You know, when you have nonprofits and things like that, you can be voted in and voted out, even if you started the nonprofit. So I do think some way, somehow, that the original feeling and the objective of Black Lives Matter was lost and stolen. And I think that this is what's going on with this guy right here. So let's just watch him right here, because I think he's trying to incite something, and it's a little bit weird to me.
I guarantee you they won't. I'll put a hole in their chest the size of a window. Safe line repair, safe line replace. That's what's gonna happen. They touch me. Unarmed woman was killed by ICE. If you think you're about to come and brutalize the people while we're standing here, fuck around and find out. Our interactions with the police and ICE, and we hold them accountable. We hold them accountable. We patrol the community and we hold them accountable. The Black Panther Party for self-defense, we're the same Panther Party from back in the day, but we're a little more aggressive now. You did carry bigger guns and we don't take no shit. Places where there are a lot of immigrants at, I think that the community around them needs to take special care to them and needs to start escorting them to and from everywhere to make sure that they're safe. Because them ICE agents ain't gonna act like that if it's a bunch of people standing outside with assault rifles and shotguns. It's a semi-automatic shotgun. That means some shotgun shells that shoot out of a pump. They shoot some.
Christy, why are you deleting stuff? What happened?
Arm yourself with something bigger than
Don't
what they
time
got.
out, people.
Those who
Let
serve
them
in the
talk.
public, they should be fearful of the public. They should be fearful that the public's going to be dissatisfied with their job that they're doing, not feeling like they're top. No ICE agent ever run up on me.
Let them be embarrassed, Christy. Thank you. I love you. All right. So thank you, Christy, for being here. I see you already taking some of the group creeps out. Let them, because I'm not going to let them distract me at the end of the day, but keep up the good work. Thank you so much. I saw some of the nonsense. Now, this particular guy, I think that he is an anarchist. This is what I'm getting from his commentary, all of this safe line replay, safe line read, all of this sloganary type of BS. This is what I'm kind of getting from him. First and foremost, he literally came out of nowhere. And I do agree with what my people are saying. He is being flooded into our algorithm for some apparent reason. Now, I am a true supporter of the Second Amendment rights, because this is where we start talking about the Second Amendment rights being taken from us again. Highlight before, when the Black Panthers was walking around with their guns legally and lawfully, the type of infiltration and rebellion that happened at that time, and how it was dismantled, just first and foremost, and how it became the whole tone of what the Black Panthers stood for was literally disregarded just because they focused on coming out with guns and things like that. Now, as I mentioned, I do think that we should be doing our own community policing. I do think that we should be trying to help one another, make sure that we are safe, we have food, we have legal counsel. At the end of the day, you're about to see that we're all may need it, because they're going to ID and tag all of us. And if you say the wrong thing, you're going to make that ass, right, excuse my language, into one of them detention centers. Hopefully you get out, no matter what your status is, because if they don't believe your paperwork when you see it, or they feel like being a buck is, this is what you're going to get. Now, as I mentioned, I do believe in grassroots movements, but it's just the flow of his commentary seems like rhetoric. I want to hear his plan, as though the Black Panthers had a 10-point plan. And let me stop in the middle of this broadcast, because there's been people under here that has been saying, Happy Martin Luther King Day. And yes, happy Martin Luther King Day. We are free-ish. And he's been rolling in his grave before he even got into his grave, because you guys remember his last speech. Okay, he literally admitted that he incorporated us into a burning building, and it's been burning ever since. Okay, so yes, love and blessings to Martin Luther King and everything that he have done, and him waking up. And as you see, when you wake up, they target you and shut you right on down. But this particular guy right here, for him to be able to move around like this and guns up and all types of stuff. Remember, the true gun activist, and please, if y'all know his name, he has a YouTube page. and I think they infiltrated he was like a black gun guy, if y'all know who he is, and he ended up going to federal prison because they said that he pointed a rifle at a federal agent that was on top of a roof. Set that ass right on up. Already have a case that's precedent for this. Listen to the facts or the details that I share with you, okay? Meaning that there's already a case. Like, you have to be really aware of the law, be very knowledgeable of the law when it comes to your Second Amendment rights, what to do and what not to do. But for him to come out and just be inciting this, to me, is a little bit weird. Now, I have seen videos that I showed you guys where they're having in-person classes at these I guess chapters, and they're trying to, I guess, teach them how to deal with ICE. Now, if that would have been some of the things that I've seen come out with his face plastered all over the place, maybe I wouldn't get this bad feeling about, like, yo, is he a plant? Like, what the hell's going on? Because they don't let nobody get spins like that unless they want the person to get spins. Does that make sense? I.e., when we talk about Candace Owens, hopefully I can name the guy. It's the accounting guy. It's accountant, content creator who basically was exposing Turning Point, just asking questions. They've gone after him instead of going after Candace Owens for a cease and desist. This is what I'm saying. They're going to pick the little guy to scare us, to put us in certain situations where you guys all shut the hell up, and this big person is still talking because there's a perception of freedom, but we don't have it. As we saw during there were certain people who can talk and certain people that could not talk. And I was like, wow, this is just really, really out of pocket. Now let's move on to the second control opposition that I believe is out there to incite more riots and hate and anarchy, is Jake Lang. Is this just this guy? He done went outside and embarrassed his damn self. Okay, I had to put the laugh out loud because they done sent this guy completely opposite. So now you got the looking like the original tribes over there fighting with the, you know what, Ashkenazi, because that's what he is. That's what this guy is, okay? I'm just throwing these concepts out here. These are the power balances that's behind this, because one concept that I did leave out is that this control confusion is a form of mental and spiritual warfare. Because the more you get wrapped up in these politics, choosing the side, saying this is the way it is, and yeah, Black Panthers, and you start filling yourself up with it, that's when the spiritual essence start to take center. Do you see what I'm saying? And this is where they begin to gain more control, because they're starting to get the essence of the people to follow behind the chaos. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? So there's a spiritual essence behind this. This is why I said the two tribes things, you know, the fake ones against the real ones. It's just all about generational curses that continue to go down the bloodline, and we're living it every day. Every day. That's why in our next slide, we're going to go into the historical and biblical essence of what's going on between Israel, Russia, Ukraine, and all of that. Because there's a biblical essence to this. There's a spiritual essence behind this. Does this make sense? But I know I went a little bit deep, but let's listen to this guy real quick over here as he comes to be anarchist number 2. Hold on. Hold on one second. I got something else playing in the background. Thank you for being here with me. If you guys don't know, my name is Miss Grace. I'm here 3 days a week, and there's a reason why I am broadcasting like this. It's because I'm working to get myself back in the algorithm, and we're just going to make it happen with the grace of God. And I like broadcasting this way. It's kind of nice. It takes us back old school, and you guys know that I'm not AI, because y'all be confused. Y'all be confused. The guy right now that received the cease and desist from Candace, y'all, I'm not Candace, I'm sorry, about Charlie Kirk related to the Candace debacle, everybody keeps saying he AI. Come out, blink, blink. So at least y'all know I'm not AI. That's why y'all hear me watching. Y'all be like, well, at least she ain't a computer, okay? And this is where another thing where they messing with our mind madness. We don't even know who's real content creators or not. When he was doing his thing, everybody was confused. Let's play this real quick. Look at him. Started off wonderful. Oh my God. Did y'all see the lady grabbing his face? I'm sorry, y'all. And I will say this. Y'all probably feel some way, but I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna highlight it. No matter how much y'all say we got hate, we do reverse racism. Look, it took two black men. It took the black men to save him. Like, yo, they really was escorting him. Like, leave him alone. Just let him go. He was so defeated. Let's see if we get the clip. It was just so freaking funny. It was sad at the same time. Look at my baby. Look at him. Oh, they straight Charlie Kirk them, and I'm not being funny when they use somebody for a fall person. That's what I'm. No disrespect to the dead. I'm not like Trump, and I'm not like the Republicans. That's why I have stayed respectful to the Charlie Kirk debacle and haven't talked about it. But yeah, they Charlie Kirked his ass real quick. Set him up to be right in the middle. Probably pay him a whole lot of money and say, yeah, go out there and talk a hell of stuff and speak up for Israel. And look what my baby got. Look what my baby got. Look at these. Look. Control confusion. Okay? Just like they did. And remember, this gentleman is a January 6er. Okay? Yes, let's not forget about that. I was like, oh, snap. When I found out that this guy was a January 6th, I said, yo, he had to get paid first and foremost to do this. And he got some fucking cahoots because where all the rest of the January 6ers at? Like, you literally out there by yourself. They set this man up. Look at that. Look at that. Okay? But that right there, those two oppositions that be coming out right around the same time was a little bit weird. Is a little bit weird to me. Okay? And I do think if people don't learn the concepts that makes you safe carrying a gun, our Second Amendment rights is going to be severely compromised, highlighting that there was a new Supreme Court case that had found that that police can come into your house with no probable cause, and if they think that your life is in danger, somebody else's life in danger, blah blah blah, yeah, we'll put that case right down at the bottom. Literally, just a couple of weeks ago, that case, and if they kill somebody or do something, they get immunity. Okay, and this is the things that's happening behind our back while we're being distracted. While he's out there saying all of this BS, and then you have the other gentleman that's acting like the Black Panther. This is why I said I think that we need to fall back when it comes to actually going out there and protesting. One thing that I heard Jolly Ginger Beard, him, in the clip that was sent to me by my mod, he said that they're trying to take your voting rights away through fear, through anarchy, through allegedly having these ICE agents at the polls or when you guys go to vote. Okay? So right now, if y'all have an idea that that's supposed to happen, y'all need to plan accordingly. So basically causing more agents and more things to come to your community by being out there hitting people with brooms and sticks and shit is not going to make it better. Basically, you're giving Trump the room to come in and bring more National Guards and implement what? Put it in the comments. We're giving them. This is why I think this is organized confusion, control opposition against the people, and we're giving them what they want. So again, if you guys are thinking about getting to the polls, midterm elections, this needs to be a control type of movement where you guys should be out right now starting to get addresses and everything, making sure that everybody get the mail-in ballots starting to get ready, make sure that everything is up to par. Y'all know the last time that it was an election, a few mailboxes caught on fire. This is the stuff I'm thinking about, and guess what? And I'm going to say it because somebody disrespected the fact that I'm a Hebrew. I'm a Hebrew and I don't participate with some things. And I have more common sense than the people who participate. We're going to have to do better, y'all. We're going to have to do better. And the only reason why I say it is important for you guys to go participate and be part of this system and be able to vote, because this is the system that you guys created. Okay? And not all of us are able to vote, not only because of religious, social, how can I say, jail. They took our rights away. So the ones that can, get your ass out there and do what you need to do. And the ones that can't, do things like what I'm doing. Get your ass on the internet, start speaking logic, putting truth to power. Go outside, start feeding people, bringing people home, bringing in, make sure the people are safe. Kids are still learning. Kids are stuck in the house again because they're afraid of ICE. These are the things that we need to be counteracting. I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real. I wasn't supposed to give the solution towards the end, but I have to start bringing in some solutions into this matter because I don't come up here just to talk, just to complain. I just love to like explore things and think about it from like a well-rounded perspective so I could be prepared because I don't like to lose. I mean, you're going to lose, but damn, at least you can really plan and strategize correctly and your opponent's over here playing chess and we playing checkers. Now, let me get to y'all comments, and then I'm going to start getting to, because I got to monitor, ICE monitoring us. Remember, the door-to-door is already promised to us. And again, that Supreme Court case that allowed for them just to come in if they feel like it's harm or is anything. They look, oh, I thought I saw a gun in the living room. Boom, kick the door right in. That's what made them be able to go into that man's house because they said they saw an empty case, an empty gun holster. His ex-girlfriend called and said he said something crazy to her, but she didn't remember the exact statement. Allegedly, he had some type of history of saying wild stuff. And guess what? They went up in his house and did anything they wanted to do. Do you see the setup? Do you see the setup? So we kind of put that together a little bit. Now, hold up. Before we go on to the Candace Owens thing, this is one thing I want to talk about. Trump seeking war about for our First Amendment rights. Taco Tuesday. If the protesters were peaceful, they would be no Trump involvement and just let ICE do their job and move on. It's not like they are killing them. They're just reporting them and they can come back legally. You about to say deporting them? Okay. So the thing is that too, they're not doing the efforts correctly. I think Taco Tuesday, that's making the people upset. If ICE was coming to the town, like right now, ICE is in Georgia. We're not out here wilding. ICE is out here. They're doing little things, going places or whatever. Don't think, but they're not running street to street, running down on people, hitting people's cars and doing type shit. Excuse my language. Because if it happened out here, you're gonna get the same rebellion. So please stop making it seem like ICE is not doing something. That's cognitive dissonance. You can't let no one come and smack you and expect the people not to respond. That's why they're responding the way they do. But what I'm saying is that the people need to take another approach, and that means to disengage ICE. Disengage ICE, and you take your ass home and start planning on how you're going to, one, like I said, protect yourself on so many levels, as well as start to disengage the system. I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I let y'all know I'm a separatist. And the best thing I have ever saw in life is separate from the BS and let God fix the rest. If I have to separate from people, places, things, entities, some places I do not shop. I've been stopped shopping at Target because it never made me feel comfortable. I was like, they don't like black people here. I'm not with this. Stop shopping at Target. What else? One of my favorite places to shop at, and I never forgot their name. I love them so much that I forgot. Oh my God. Well, Nordstrom, and there's another one. And the other place is right at the tip of my tongue. Just know that I love this place in Jersey. And when I found out that they had sweatshops that killed hundreds of Chinese people, I don't give a damn I'm not Chinese. That is of the devil. That's inhumane. And if we start thinking like that, we addition engaging from this shit, we'll start breaking these systems down. We'll start breaking the people who actually control the media, who control these industries, if we start to disengage. They already dismantled the school system. Why not start to homeschool? You already had a practice round through COVID. I know the shit was hard, but guess what? At least you learned where your kids was at, and they were pretty dumb before COVID, and they got more dumb after because y'all didn't do what y'all was supposed to do. And I have to say that because I've been a homeschool mom for a lot of years because I pulled my kids out earlier because I saw this. Since they was in 5th and 6th grade, I said, what the hell? No, they're not learning. This is socialization. These kids are just getting caught up in drama, and my kids are not learning. Now that you see this is happening, Trump is not putting more money into federalization of our educate. Well, federalize it, putting federalized money away from our education system. What are you gonna do? These are the things we're being distracted from. He came in dismantling every single part of stability in our system, and you guys let it without making him demanding another plan. Now, I cannot be mad at everybody because there has been, how can I say, a flood, an avalanche, a tsunami of bullshit that's just been coming. But I do think if we continue to focus on what we can focus on, as far as what system resonates with you, what you can do to help, you know. I mean, if you're into finances, start teaching finances. If you're into building, start teaching building, construction, bringing these people in your community into mentorship programs. That's when we're going to start rebuilding, because again, we're depending on the system. We're depending on entities that allegedly we voted for, and as Elon must say, that's what you voted for, that's what you represent. Now, who do we have to replace these people? Aren't y'all tired of seeing the same damn faces? Sorry, I can't run for nothing because God told me not to, and I never wanted to, but this is my position. If you feel like you have the kahunas, go run for something. If you believe in this system, you're screaming from the top of your lungs, ICE, take them out. They took our money. They're taking our resources. Now, okay, if the immigrants are out and they have certain specialties, what are you doing to replace them? That's what I'm saying, y'all. Organized confusion. And I'm not with it. And I'm seeing what happened. And that's why I fell back a little bit in my commentary. I was like, yo, I see what they doing. And some of the things that I don't do, and there's a reason why I don't do, is like flash news, because that shit keep you going. Every 2 seconds, this happened, oh, Trump is going to jail. That fucking ain't doing nothing. Let's just let this shit cook for a little while, and we start planning and strategizing the way they are, and then we can make some things happen. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? All right, I know I went on a tangent. The only difference now is that cell phone and ICE videos. We saw Taco Tuesday. That happens in Nigeria. Thugs come to the polls. Exactly, and that happened, thank you, Dejan Campus too. They did that on the South Side too. I know this because that's what I was kind of following. I keep bringing it up with the Tiffany Henyard thing, the worst mayor. When it was time for election time, I'm like, yo, is this legal? That other people are there and they antagonizing people and they talking shit about people, and it's just a bunch of that stuff is not supposed to happen. So I think that's what they're gonna do here, and that's what they do in most nations, make people afraid. No, and I'm not Jewish. I am a Hebrew from the bloodline of Judah. Okay, we'll talk about that on another day. Don't want to get distracted. Nice to see a smart, pretty woman telling it like it is. Snapshot sniper. Thank you so much. Seeing that I'm not AI and we're making this shit happen. That's why they try to censor me. That's why my name is Uncensored Grace. It's a reason. Because my thought pattern is very different from other people, and it does not make me better. I'm just a systemized thinker. So I see the different boxes, and it just goes through like, whoa, this connected to this, because this is how I learned the human body. If one part of the system is sick, it's going to affect the other system. You cannot separate these type of concepts and say one don't have one thing to do with another. Now, we talked about the First Amendment. And let's talk about this is how Trump is getting the First Amendment as well. One more thing. The lawsuits. Trump has set up already a precedent that makes it easier for people to sue these particular platforms and us, because you like, I'm social media, I'm commentary. You fall under that, they're gonna try to Julian Assange your ass. Eric Snowden. Don't forget about them. Those are my boys. I pray for them. Where they at right now? Nobody's paying attention. And nobody cares about them after they done risk their lives to disclose some shit to you. Okay, shout out to them. I'm praying for them, especially Julian Assange. She was getting very sick. All right, so this is how Trump is also taking another step or adding another layer to First Amendment rights, taking it away. It says Donald Trump has lost numerous lawsuits against major companies, media outlets seeking billions in damage, allegedly for defamation. Now, before they said defamation was the hardest thing to prove, but after Cardi B actually won against Tasha K, a person who do commentary, and the information she was sharing was already out there, I said, oh shit. We gotta learn. That's why I said defamation is more than just saying wrong words about somebody or something that may harm someone. It's the intent by it, is the intent behind it, and they also and they talk about the how can I like intent, like the viciousness of it. Okay, it's more factors behind defamation. We're gonna talk about that because people, you're gonna hear this is my 8 ball for today. Many people who went behind this Charlie Kirk thing is going to get cease and desist. They're going to get the cease and desist, and guess who's not? Candace Owens. Mark my words. Mark my words. Set everybody up, and that's why we're about to get to Candace Owens, because I've been trying to figure this out, and I think many Hebrews been trying to figure this out. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm watching my brews, because everybody else love her. We was just trying to figure out where she at, where she land on the spectrum, because it's like, yo, you putting half information out, but then it's like, okay. Okay, I keep calling back to Candace Owens because we getting back to the end, because we going to cook on some of the things she talked about in her live, where she went down the deep end of conspiracies, and she took millions of people with her, and I want to add some commentary to it, because I'm not saying she totally, but I'm saying it may be a setup. So this is Trump numerous lawsuits, just to break it down so you guys can see. ABC News settled Trump sued March 2024 over comments regarding the rape liability verdict. The case settled December 2024 with ABC agreeing to pay $15 million and towards the presidential library and $1 million in legal fees. CBS settlement, a lawsuit regarding editing of 60 Minutes interview. Kamala Harris with Kamala Harris was settled July 2025. Paramount paid $16 million. Trump got another win. This is all connected to our First Amendment rights. Y'all think, oh yeah, my Trump won. No, these are cases that set precedent against things that we could say and cannot fucking say, because if big news stations lost millions, what the you think is gonna happen to us? I'm just saying, let's play chess, not checkers. New York Times, $15 billion, filed in September, October 2025, accused the paper of acting like a mouthpiece for Democrats. Whoa, to the people who are parakeeting what Candace Owens is saying. I'm gonna shut up. Move on. Let's move on. That's why I'm so careful about what I say, and I present what everybody else say, and we kind of like, hold up, wait. You can't be mad that I'm comparing and contrasting. Shit, defamation, my ass. See, learn from this content creator. I had to start my page over 3 times because of it wasn't defamation. It was literally they were picking any single thing I would say and do and use it against me. So it made me very meticulous of what I say and do. And I think I can help you. He did CNN, damn. Excuse my language. $475 million. What the hell is Trump doing with all this money? Jesus. Filed July 2025 over the story regarding a note to Jeffrey Epstein. Hold on, no, I'm sorry. That's the next one. That's the Wall Street. CNN, it said filed October 2022, alleged defamation for comparing him to Adolf Hitler. Now, mind you, if he loses this case, that's still a whole lot of money that CNN has to use to fight. Do we have it? Me and you, regular people. Wall Street is the one that he's suing, filed on July 2025. It's just crazy. He lost his mind. Literally, the Epstein files is being released. This is how delusional he is. That's why I believe this is organized confusion. He thinks he can get this off. He thinks that Obadiah is not going to happen, but it's going to happen. Wall Street, he filed it regarding the note to Jeffrey Epstein. So he's still trying to say he didn't do that note. And this is the strategies behind this is high damage. High damage. Let's close off with this. Suits office damage, financial, financial stability. Often, if it's unproven, damages are already done. Targeting the coverage. The suit's office often focus on critical reporting, editing, conversations, communications, and things related to election coverage. So he's picking and choosing what he's going to edit because guess what? Anyone who controls society controls the narrative. That's why right now they was to the point that black people, we wiping all your history books. We done with this. You ain't even gonna exist. Just like when the Romans came in and did it to the Phoenicians and all, we just wipe you out. You don't exist. This is what they do, control the narrative. But this is okay. Rewriting history and everything. So again, those are just some of the ways that Trump is solidifying some of the steps of taking our First Amendment rights away. Not only through ICE, through the monitoring, through all of that AI nonsense, and they're starting to file these defamation lawsuits against small content creators. That's why we're getting into this right here, where it comes to Candace. Dun 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 dun. Now I was like, man, I haven't talked about her because I'm like, man, I'm gonna just see where this goes. Now, no disrespect to her, I really appreciate what she's doing. You know, it's kind of heart wrenching to watch. I'm just gonna keep it honest. But besides this, I'm just gonna always be non-biased. It's heart wrenching to watch this lady literally, Charlie Kirk, my friend, Charlie Kirk, my friend, and my friend, and you ain't got no black friends. You ain't got no black friends. Like, if you saw that Black Lives Matter was a shell and by Soros and all this shit, did you forget your skin was black? Why you didn't take your millions of dollars and come and take over and make an organization that will help your damn people? Because guess what? She forgot she black and then she gonna realize it. Sorry, that is just my rant page on Candace. Candace, let's get it together. Now, this is why I think she's controlled opposition. Not because of that. Because I do think she's a human being. I do think she's very smart, meticulous. But some of the things that's going on right now, as I mentioned, is a little bit suspect. Now, this investigation, okay, point taken, do what you do. But to have a direct connection or a text link to the person who you really investigating is a little bit weird. And that is her allegedly being able to text back and forth with EK, Erica Kirk, and being able to clarify some things and things like that. That is just too weird for me at the end of the day, because if you have these connections with her and you can text and talk to her, I'm going to say first and foremost, all the things that's coming out about EK, Erica Kirk's history. How the fuck did, excuse me, don't curse, girl. How did Candace, this woman did not know? How did Candace not know all of this crazy stuff coming up related to Erica Kirk, the old foundation, the alleged pedophilia, the connections to, you know, this type of stuff? I'm not even going to rename it because you know what they do. I'm going to let them talk and I talk the stuff. Okay, so you telling me she did not know none of this stuff as she started to dismantle and bring, you know, dismantle Turning Point apart right now? Now she's able to find out all of this stuff about the donors, about Erica history, being connected to Trump. Oh, things that I just, come on, let's be real. And then we have Kirk, Charlie Kirk, where, no disrespect to him, the things she's even bringing up in his audience and the people who's following him, where no blood splatter all over the place and she's just looking weird and blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. Okay, with that goes to say, she's throwing out a lot of what ifs and a lot of conspiracy theories, but I'm not saying her things can't be backed up. Allegedly, they're finding records of Erica Kirk old foundation, and they were looking at newspaper articles, and they're going deep into this. But I do believe that if you get in front of the narrative and send your person out there, you will control the tone of what society is actually talking about related to what you want to control. I.e., I went through that on the south side of Chicago when I was exposing the mayor. There was a lot of control opposition there. They were paying content creators. They were paying activists. They were paying people to keep a certain narrative and to control the narrative and disregard other people and what they were saying. And this is the same shit that's going on right here. You see, this is what I'm thinking. It's just, let's just move on. Now, this is what makes me a little bit suspect of her. Some of the things that Candice talked about in this particular live, it was Project Looking Glass. How did Charlie Kirk know he was going to die? Now, I'm going to say this. There are some things that she has said that I do believe can totally be researched. And these are some of the concepts that she talked about. But my main thing is that, is this the time for this? For people to flood with all of these type of, how can they call it conspiracy theories, but I do believe some of these things are true. I just don't think that this is the right time to flood your audience and everybody else who's going through all this mind propaganda with this as well. So she went into this. This was the key themes of this particular video. Charlie Kirk, she believed Charlie Kirk was a time traveler. Now, these are some of the concepts that if you, a regular person, talk about, they're going to look at you sideways. Now, I know we're trying to make the uncomfortable comfortable. Y'all, I'm with it. I'm with it. What I went through when it came to censorship, I can't stand someone not allowing me to go explore a topic and things like that. But also, you got to see the mindset of the people around you and who control the system, first and foremost. And if you come out and start talking about all of these type of shit, and you just go running off and blah, 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 and blah, 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 this is grounds to commit people, okay? Because the people who run the hospitals and the psych ward, they don't believe in none of this shit. They don't believe, they didn't look into it, they ain't going to, and they don't care. Does that make sense? I looked into it. I think some of it's real. Do I run the psych ward? Do I run the shit? No. So just let's start thinking about that. So one of the concepts was that Charlie Kirk was a time traveler who foreseen his death and that he was looking for her. My baby. See, and once they once they discredit her, they're gonna discredit everybody. Everybody. Again, I don't think that she won't sacrifice herself because she don't care. You just saw what happened with Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj went ghost. She got $2 million possibly and just in the corner minding her damn business. Don't care. She done lost all her followers. She gonna let y'all forget and come right on back. This is what these stars do. So this is what she thinks that she's gonna do. This is what Candice do believe she thinks she's gonna do. I believe. So she talks about the deep state panic, aware of this as a threat. The speaker suggests that deep state globalization state is in a panic because the collective human awareness and consciousness pose a threat to their control, which I believe. I do believe that we're waking up. But every time that we wake up and we learn new information, they flood us with with so much of this, it disregards us. Like, okay, when this was happening before, prime example, when they were giving us all this information about child sex trafficking, this came out 6 years ago. Things about aliens, they were talking about that. They having Senate meetings about that right now and all that type of shit. When topics like that was coming out, they were flooding us with those topics, along with, if y'all don't know, the awakening was happening. This was around 2014 to 2016. What do I mean, the awakening? Around the time of 2014 and 16, my Hebrew brother had put the information out there too, that he was able to search what was searched the most between that time. And he researched certain phrases, and it was the awakened, who is Israel, who is God's people, BBB, blah, blah, blah. And that's where you had all the Hebrews coming out like, yeah, oh, I'm God, oh, I'm this. And you had black people talking to Hebrews, and then they started to, put the Hebrews into a category as terrorists. That's why I say, for me to say I'm a Hebrew is just like me saying KKK to the algorithm for some apparent reason, and some people, because they have bunched us together. And baby, I have nothing to do with none of those organizations. I walk and talk and pray by myself. But what that goes to say, around that time of the awakening, we got flooded with a whole bunch of conspiracies. Now Candace Owens is the one that's in charge of this awakening. I said it. I said it. She's the one that's calling them the synagogue of Satan. She's the one that's repeating Kanye West words and bringing, they're the one that run everything. Okay, selected people can talk about this, but we can't. She's also bringing up Kyrie Irving situation that happened with my uncle, Ron Dalton, the book, Hebrews to Negroes. She brings these things up, but she gives y'all half-ass information, and that's where I say it's a setup, because she is feeding things to keep people going down a rabbit hole looking for things that's not going to add substance to their life. That's first and foremost. Because the more y'all go down this rabbit hole with this Charlie Kirk thing situation, it's going to just prove the same thing that proved with Malcolm X, with Martin Luther King, with JFK, that our government assassinates their own or people who don't go with the agenda. What is it going to prove? And I'm not saying that it's not significant, but this one right here, this last live, Project Looking Glass, totally went to the left. And I feel like she's taking the audience down a path that is going to distract you guys. Now, I need you guys to pay attention. Some of the topics that she went into was Project Looking Glass, the CIA time review technology, claiming that the real secret project used was stolen from the ancient Sumerian technology integrated with computers to view multiple future timelines. This is some things that, people have documentaries on. But at the end of the day, is this something that's going to help us in this particular situation right now, where we have our rights being taken away from us, ICE busting our butt, Trump is in a war with everybody, Trump took presidents and all types of shit? What are we going to do with this? That's why I think that this is a little bit crazy, because shortly after she came out with this video, now you get one of the content creators that get a cease and desist. She goes into the Mandela effect, in which I do agree with the Mandela effect. Everything about that Mandela effect, the old way is what I remember. The new way, I don't. But hey, does that do anything for me today to help us get out of this situation? I want you guys to just realize what's going on. This is not to take away from Candace and her investigation, but I want you to see the components of organized confusion, how they can use certain things that are facts, things that you can find, but it's going to distract you from the narrative. It's going to distract you from the things you really need to do. She even went back to the Y2K. She took it all the way back to the Y2K scandal and allegedly how it was supposed to be a global reset. Now, peep this. If you're paying attention to your algorithms after this or before this, you will notice that some of these topics is coming into your algorithm. I even noticed this before she started talking about this. Like, it was another topic that came in about alleged global reset called Tartaria. Go look this up, where they saying at the 1700s that it was literally a global reset, and this is where they had the Cabbage Patch babies and all types of stuff. Why are they pushing these things out to us in this algorithm? Why are certain people still being suppressed and then certain things are just being pushed to us? Because it's mind madness and mind theory. I'm not saying that we're not supposed to know about these things. I do believe things are happening, but it's to use the information when you can utilize it. To go down, go down that rabbit hole right now, I believe it's a controlled distraction technique by the enemy to keep our floodgates open with a whole bunch of information, partially true, partially not, and then get us to be distracted from everything we talked about earlier, which is our First, Second, and Fourth Amendment rights today. Which are First, Second, and Fourth. That's all. Because they took the Fourth Amendment rights. They just looking at you talking about, bitch, speak. You're not American. Even white people ain't American right now. Y'all about to get locked up too. That's why I say y'all better know y'all nationality, because now he over there trying to go get Greenland and shit like that. You're going to have other nations that go against it. And he's going to be like, what, you German? All the Germans get out of America. Who Germans look like? White people. I know I'm kind of being extreme. But us today, you tomorrow. And if we don't focus in on what's going on, then we're going to have some issues. Now, let's just get to this. This is the last part where we're going to kind of finish off. We know that Candace Owens, I do believe that she's Alex Joning everybody. Alex Joning everybody because he was able to say anything and everything until allegedly he had this big ass lawsuit and all this type of stuff. And he's still out there in the public domain, still saying the same thing. But he was a test and a lesson for us as well because he was part of that time of the extremeness of the 10 hatters that I told you. It just got so crazy that they like, we have to put a stop on it. We have to restrict free speech that's harmful. And then they sent Alex Jones right back into the mix to come after her. This is satire. Satire. I'm saying it wrong. Y'all know what I got. Y'all know I be having a heavy tongue. Y'all know what this is. This shit is a psyops. Okay? So they brought him back in. All right, so we talked about all the stuff she was talking about, the gate program, the Mandela effect. She went into multi-dimensional talking, these type of things. And I'm not saying it does not have a factual base behind it, that there was not people who studied this. Some was unalive. Some of their inventions was taken away and hidden. We do need to know that. But right now, do we need to know that? No. All right, so let's just close off with this. This is what I do believe is going on. From a spiritual aspect, this is part of the spiritual warfare. Spiritual warfare is in the mind. Spiritual warfare is not about somebody just doing voodoo or casting spells and conjuring stuff, then a boogeyman show up in your life. No, it's actually the first step to spiritual warfare. Now, we'll only talk about this step today, is mental instability, fear, anxiety, anger, irritability. Every day that we watch these things and we indulge in this and we start to feed this into our body, what are we doing? We're opening a pathway for these demonic entities to tap on in through these things that I told you. I talked about this before, how people can become spiritually tapped in, not meaning that you possess. Like, you're literally talking about a topic and then you'll get so angry and start acting crazy and shit. And then you don't even know where you come from. And then you looking like Mr. Lang, Jake Lang, looking stupid. Just nervous now because your actions didn't lean up. That spiritual that came in to take over you to make you do that stupid didn't make you think right. Does that make sense? So that's some of the things that spiritual warfare lead us to. So this mental aspects of what they're playing on us, because they want us to go outside and act like a fool. They want us to get the guns, cock it back at ICE, and then get locked up for just cocking a gun because you don't know the damn law. Things like that. Don't fall for it. Don't be a fool for it. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So I'm not going to go too deep in the spiritual aspects, but I will say we're going to do a round two. I should come back in about 2 hours where I'm going to get into the physical and spiritual aspects of what's going on with these nations, the concept of the 10 kings. And I think that's going to be a 5-part series. This first part, we're going to be talking about Russia, Iran, Palestine, China, Cuba, and Africa relations. We're going to talk about them first, how they're connected. We're going to talk about it from a physical aspect, financial aspect, and then we're going to go in and kind of talk about the biblical history of Russia and Ukraine, and then we're going to get into Israel and Palestine. Okay, so that's what we're going to do in the next 2 hours. We're going to break this down. We're coming from a comprehensive, critical thinking perspective, okay? Because our goal is not to get caught up with this. Like, there's a reason why I'm here. Please, content creators, we got to do a little bit better. You guys got to do better because they setting you up for the slaughterhouse. And I'm just going to have to say that. Take word from your Hebrew sister right now. Take heed. I don't care what nation you are, what content creator you are. Right now, there is not only a physical, but a spiritual war against us as people to take our rights and our freedom away. Shout out to Martin Luther King. He didn't only induct us into a burning house. He made y'all think that y'all wasn't in a burning house. Okay? Because this has always been the same people sitting at this table. The same families sitting at this table. And guess what? Me and you are not sitting at that table. Please hit the like button. Turn on your notifications. Thank you for getting through this. I was having some technical difficulties. I have my mic working. In about 2 hours, we're going to deep dive into what they're trying to turn into the world into. 10 king theory. Have a blessed morning, and Let's do it like this. You know where we're going to finish off. Thank you, God, for being with us this morning and us getting through this and be able to share this information with you guys. Let's go. Let's destroy the table. That's what I'm talking about, G.